What if a simple act, repeated 100 times, could rewrite the very fabric of your reality? This is not speculation, it is a principle hidden in plain sight, overlooked by most and mastered by few. Jacobo Grinberg, a revolutionary thinker in the study of consciousness, proposed that the mind is not a passive observer but an architect, constructing reality from within. Every experience, every limitation, every so-called truth, it all stems from the structures built inside the mind. Yet, if reality is built, it can also be rebuilt. Neville Goddard took this concept even further, revealing that transformation does not demand force, struggle, or complexity. It requires certainty. The certainty, strengthened through repetition, can reprogram the subconscious and align external circumstances with inner conviction. What if everything you have been told about change is wrong? What if the key was never effort, but rather the relentless affirmation of a new truth? No elaborate rituals, no complex steps, just your voice, your intention, and a pattern repeated until the world around you bends to match it. It sounds almost too simple, and perhaps that's exactly why it remains hidden in plain sight, because once you witness its power, your perception of reality will never be the same again. Before we continue, I invite to write in the comment this mantra: I attract prosperity and wisdom in my life, to increase the positive energy in your life. Most people accept the world as it appears, never questioning the deeper forces at play. But there have always been those who dare to look beyond the surface, to ask the questions others fear. Jacobo Grinberg was one such explorer, a scientist unafraid to walk the thin line between science and mysticism. His research on consciousness suggested something radical, that what we call reality is nothing more than an illusion created by the mind's interpretation of an unseen informational field. Every belief, every expectation, every mental imprint becomes a blueprint that determines the shape of your world. But what if those blueprints were flawed? What if the limits you accept as truth are nothing more than inherited distortions? Here's where Neville Goddard's work becomes crucial. He claimed that external circumstances do not exist independently of the mind, but are reflections of deeply held assumptions. If the world outside is merely a mirror, then changing what you see is not about battling the reflection, it's about altering the source. The mind does not passively receive reality, it generates it. And if that is true, then with the right method, a person could rewrite their entire life. This is the power of repetition, not as a dull, mindless act, but as an act of creation. The words we speak, the thoughts we entertain, the emotions we attach to them, they are all frequencies shaping the unseen forces that govern reality. Ancient traditions knew this well, from the rhythmic chants of Tibetan monks to the whispered affirmations of mystics. Repetition has always been a tool for transformation. But in today's world, this ancient wisdom is often dismissed, buried beneath distractions and complexity. Yet science is beginning to confirm what mystics have long understood. Grinberg suggested that the mind is constantly interfacing with a field of information that responds to its activity. Change the activity, change the output. Neville Goddard simplified this to a single truth: assume a new reality with total conviction, and the world must follow. This is not mere wishful thinking. It is the art of programming reality itself, the process by which thought moves from possibility to physicality. And at the core of it all is one practice: intentional, focused repetition. What happens when this practice is applied with absolute focus? The results defy logic. Repeating a single phrase charged with emotion over and over embeds a new reality into the subconscious. This is not a random process. It is the deliberate tuning of the mind to a new frequency. Just as a radio station must be set to the right signal to hear the music, the mind must be attuned to a specific belief for it to materialize in the external world. Jacobo Grinberg's research hinted at a hidden structure beneath reality, an interconnected field that responds to consciousness itself. Meanwhile, Neville Goddard spoke in direct terms. Reality bends to conviction. No external permission is needed. No external force is required. The only thing that stands between a person and the life they desire is their willingness to repeat a new truth until the universe has no choice but to reflect it. Some will dismiss it as impossible, But those who have applied it, those who have seen the shift, know that the greatest secrets are often the simplest, and perhaps that is why they remain hidden in plain sight. Repetition is more than reinforcement, it is the sculptor of reality. The ancient mystics knew this, the greatest minds of modern consciousness studies have hinted at it, yet the full implications remain vastly underestimated. Jacobo Grinberg and Neville Goddard arrived at the same truth from different vantage points. The subconscious mind does not discern between what is real and what is imagined. It absorbs what is presented with emotion, weaving it into the very fabric of perception. This means that with focused repetition, the internal blueprint of one's life can be altered at will. If an idea is spoken, felt, and repeated enough times, it ceases to be an external thought, it becomes the very foundation upon which reality is built. The mind, after all, is not a passive observer of the world. It is the architect, and through repetition, we hand it the blueprints for construction. Grinberg's research suggested that in deep states of consciousness, the walls between the physical and the mental dissolve. He theorized that the brain does not just process reality, it participates in its creation through an unseen informational field. Meanwhile, Neville Goddard taught that affirming a new truth with absolute certainty alters the vibration of the mind, causing the external world to align in response. These are not two separate ideas, they are two perspectives of the same mechanism. But the key to this process is not found in empty words or mindless repetition. The true power lies in feeling every phrase as an undeniable truth. It is not the act of speaking the words 100 times that creates the shift. It is the unwavering belief that grows with each repetition, dissolving resistance and reshaping the subconscious. The moment this belief becomes absolute, reality has no choice but to rearrange itself to match. The human mind is not born with limitations, it is taught them. From childhood, we are subjected to a flood of repeated messages that form the invisible architecture of our identity. Money is scarce. Success is difficult. I am not enough. These statements are rarely questioned, yet they shape the course of a lifetime. They were installed through repetition, and so they persist as the governing forces of reality. But what if these beliefs were never true? What if they were merely patterns that could be rewritten? This is where the practice of conscious repetition becomes revolutionary. What was programmed unconsciously can be dismantled deliberately. The same principle that once instilled limitation can now be used to install boundless possibility. But this time, you are in control of what enters the mind. This time, you choose. A single affirmation spoken 100 times is not just an exercise, it is a ritual of transformation. Just as an athlete trains their body until movement becomes second nature, the mind can be trained until belief becomes automatic. The repetition embeds a new reality deep within, instructing the subconscious to accept it as fact. Doubt is the only barrier. And the moment doubt is eradicated, the moment the new belief is held as absolute, reality must shift to accommodate it. This is not philosophy, this is not wishful thinking. It is the fundamental nature of how perception shapes experience. Those who understand this principle have used it to defy odds, to break generational cycles, to manifest realities that once seemed impossible. But understanding is not enough. It must be applied. It must be lived. And that is what you are about to experience. The technique is simple, yet its power lies in the commitment with which it is practiced. For the next 7 nights, you will carve out a space free from distraction, a moment of pure focus where nothing exists but the words you speak. The subconscious is most malleable in states of deep relaxation, so before beginning, allow yourself to settle. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, let tension melt away. As the body relaxes, mental resistance dissolves. This is the gateway to transformation. Then, choose a single affirmation, one that reflects a reality you wish to step into. I am abundant, and prosperity flows to me effortlessly. I am powerful, and my path is clear. Whatever resonates at the deepest level of your being, speak it aloud, feel it as truth, and repeat it 100 times. Each repetition is a seed planted in the fertile soil of the subconscious, and with each night that passes, the roots grow stronger, until one day the new reality is no longer an intention, it is simply the way things are. Now begin the repetition. Every word you speak is not just a sound, it is a blueprint for the reality you are constructing. This is not mere recitation, this is an act of creation. You are not just affirming, you are commanding. Each phrase must be felt as if it already exists. The mind does not respond to empty words, it responds to certainty, to the energy of conviction. If you merely whisper the words without emotion, the impact will be shallow, like writing on water. But if you declare them with absolute faith, as though they are as real as the air you breathe, you will feel the shift happening within you. At first, the words may seem foreign, like echoes bouncing off an unfamiliar space, but continue. As the repetition builds, a change will occur. The phrases will no longer feel separate from you. They will begin to merge with your being. Your mental state will shift, slipping into a rhythm where the affirmation feels not just possible, but inevitable. This is the threshold where transformation begins. The subconscious, which once resisted, now surrenders, accepting this new pattern as its default reality. The old doubts fade and a new certainty takes their place. The world around you has not changed yet, but something within you has, and that is the first sign that the external world is about to follow. Over the next few days, subtle signs will emerge: a heightened sense of intuition, an unexpected stroke of luck, a conversation that feels strangely synchronistic. The world begins to mirror the belief you are embedding within. You might brush it off at first, a small opportunity, a chance encounter, a shift in how people respond to you. But these are not coincidences. They are indicators of reality realigning itself. Neville Goddard taught that once a belief is accepted as truth within, the outer world has no choice but to reorganize itself in response. This is not an abstract idea. It is a process happening beneath the surface of your awareness. When the 100 repetitions are complete, stop. Do not analyze. Do not chase results. Do not wonder if it worked. The act of letting go is as important as the repetition itself. Jacobo Grinberg's research pointed to a fundamental truth. Excessive conscious control can interfere with the deep mind's ability to connect to the informational field. If you keep digging up a seed to check if it's growing, you only disrupt its process. Instead, release. Allow the new reality to unfold naturally. When you let go, you signal to the subconscious that you already believe, and when belief is unquestioned, reality must bend to reflect it. The experiences of those who have practiced this technique are striking. Some notice immediate changes, a sudden shift in mood, an unexplainable sense of confidence. Others report external manifestations, a long-awaited opportunity arising from nowhere, a financial breakthrough with no logical cause, an obstacle dissolving effortlessly. Those who focus on affirmations of abundance often experience what can only be described as uncanny timing, money appearing in unexpected ways, resources flowing effortlessly, debts being forgiven as if the universe itself conspired in their favor. But this is not supernatural intervention. It is the mind's shift, influencing perception, decisions, and the energy that surrounds them. For others, the technique unlocks something even deeper, a renewed sense of purpose. Repeating an affirmation like, "I am powerful and my path is clear," or "Every step I take leads me to success" for 7 nights can dissolve subconscious resistance that once held them back. After years of self-doubt, they suddenly feel compelled to act. Their thoughts become sharper, their intuition stronger, their fears less paralyzing. The way the world responds to them shifts, not because the world itself changed, but because their internal state no longer allows for anything less than success. Reality is not fixed, it is fluid, shaped by the mind's patterns. The truth is, you have been affirming something your entire life, whether consciously or not. The question is, have you been affirming what you want, or have you been unconsciously repeating the very limitations that hold you back? What you are doing now is not just an exercise, it is a reclamation, a rewriting of the subconscious script that has governed your life until now. With each repetition, you are not just speaking, you are becoming. And once the mind accepts a new identity, the world must shift to reflect it. Jacobo Grinberg spent his life unraveling the hidden relationship between mind and reality, while Neville Goddard distilled the process into a method so simple that most overlook its power. What their work reveals is not a theory, but a truth woven into existence itself. The power has always been within you, waiting to be directed with precision. Repetition is not just a mental exercise, it is the bridge between intention and manifestation. Each word you repeat with conviction is not just a sound, but a command, a pulse sent into the unseen layers of reality. When you affirm something 100 times for 7 nights, you are not simply speaking, you are rewriting the deepest layers of your subconscious, dissolving the old patterns that have silently shaped your life. And the moment your mind accepts this new truth as reality, the external world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match. Now, the choice stands before you. You can continue operating under the beliefs that have shaped your life up until this point, or you can test this for yourself. Just 7 nights, just 100 repetitions. No elaborate rituals, no complex techniques, only words, spoken with certainty, repeated until they become part of you. It is simple enough to seem unbelievable, yet powerful enough to change the trajectory of your life. The question is, will you try? Now that you understand this process, the only step left is to experience it. The power of repetition is not in knowing, it is in doing. Choose an affirmation that speaks to the transformation you seek, whether it is abundance, confidence, health, or clarity. The words must be direct, affirmative, and deeply personal to you. This is not about reciting phrases mindlessly. It is about immersing yourself in them until they become undeniable. For the next 7 nights, commit to this. Set aside a quiet moment, take a deep breath, and repeat your chosen affirmation 100 times aloud. Feel each word as absolute, as if it has already been fulfilled. Just 7 nights, just 100 repetitions. The method is simple, but if you approach it with full presence and intention, you will realize this is more than just words. It is an act of self-transformation. Something within you will begin to shift, your thoughts, your emotions, your energy, and as that shift occurs, the external world will follow. If you feel compelled to share your experience or explore these concepts further, leave a comment and continue on this path of discovery. Reality is always listening. The question is, what will you choose to tell it?